In this demonstration for PowerShell DSC, we're going to take the code that we covered in the module and install it on a Windows virtual machine. In order to get started though, we're going to need some help from PowerShell. But let's begin by looking at our code in Visual Studio and then getting it ready for Azure consumption. Here we are in Visual Studio Code, and you can see I've got my configuration here very similar to the one we had in the PowerPoint. In this case, our configuration name is Skylines IIS. We're still going to deploy to Node localhost. We're going to install the IIS feature, and we're going to install ASP.NET 4.5. Now, as I mentioned, we have to get the code ready for consumption. So first of all, we save this file. In my case, it's install iis.ps1. And if we go over to PowerShell, as you can see, my file's there, install iis.ps1. But now let me make it ready for consumption. So I use the command publish Azure RM VM DSC configuration. If you start typing publish-Azure RM VM, you'll see these come up pretty easily. So there we have it, publish Azure RM VM DSC configuration, and now we need two parameters to save it locally. First, we need the configuration path for the PS1 file, so let's type that in first. Secondly, we need our output archive path. In this case, I'm using a local file called sl install.iis.zip. Once completed, if I look in the folder again, I now have my sl install.iis.zip file ready for consumption via the Azure portal. It's worth noting that if I didn't want to do this locally, I could actually publish it to Azure Blob Storage, and instead of going to the Azure portal to upload the zip file, I could reference it in my PowerShell script. But in our case, we've created the zip file locally. We're now going to go over to the Azure portal and install it via the VM extension there. Okay, here we are over in the Azure portal again, and I'm going to use a new VM I created, sl-vm02. It's just a simple Windows virtual machine, just like we did in Module 1 of the VM section. And if we go in here and scroll down a little bit, you'll see something called extensions. If we select extensions, straight away on the right-hand side, you can see we currently have no extensions set up already on this virtual machine. Let's go ahead and click Add. And here you'll see the various extensions available to you. We discussed Puppet earlier and Chef, and those are available there, but in this case we're going to use PowerShell desired state configuration. Selecting DSC and selecting Create, we'll now be prompted for the modules and scripts that we wish to install. In this case, our module, if we select the File button here, will be our local zip file that we created using PowerShell. Next, we need to use the module qualified name of configuration. If you look at the information button here, it goes in the following format, module/function. In our case, we will use install iis.ps1 / skylines IIS, which was the name of our configuration. Scrolling down, we have to put in the version of DSC that we wish to use. In my case, I'm going to use 2.26. With that said, we don't need to enter any of the other information there for the use case we're trying to perform. Go ahead and click OK. As you can see, deployment is now in progress and DSC is underway. Let's check back here in a little while to see if it succeeded successfully. As we can see now, PowerShell DSC is showing that provisioning succeeded. This took a couple of minutes to complete. If we now go RDP directly into the machine, and I have an RDP session already open, look in here and go to Manage. Look at our roles and features. Scroll down, we can see that the web server feature is actually installed. If we open up a web browser and go to localhost, we can see that IIS has been successfully installed. And with that, this concludes this demonstration on DSC.